Well, it's another Station 42 night. How goes it, everyone?
Oh, it's going pretty good.
You guys pretty excited about Mr. J walking into the room, like as of like 10 minutes ago or whatever?
Mr. J?
Yep, Patch J. Or
Oh.
PTU2.4
You know,
OJ
I
Simpson.
just downloaded an incremental patch like a couple of hours ago, but I don't know if it was J. Yeah, it probably was J. I don't know. I'd have to check. Hey, and we are live.
Oh, snap. All right. All right. Hello and welcome to Station 42, your StarCitizen community and content-focused talk show. Station 42 is put on by the illustrious Vadran Malik and myself, Traz Ion, with the technical wizardry and general voice of reason, Mr. Godric.
And that would be me. How's it going, everybody?
Hey, Godric. All right. Well, unfortunately, we'll be missing Vadran's voice, as life has summoned him elsewhere this fine evening, but we are not without his support, as he has so kindly acquired tonight's sponsorship. And on to that now! Pegasus Defense Industries. History tells us that those who attack first ride the advantage to victory. At PDI, we strive to make the lie of that old adage. Our security suite specializes in a checkpoint system that immediately sweeps, scans, and identifies the targeted personnel with an array of top-of-the-line biometric, heat, and material analysis sensors, alerting you to any would-be concealed or overt threat. All identification data is rapidly compared against record databases, ensuring that only cleared persons are granted access. And should the worst be realized, our automated and highly advanced kill bots will resolve your worries. Lickety-split. At PDI, we have our mind on your welfare. Citizens, ask about our Rapid Pass subscriptions today. Well, that sounds interesting. Anyways, and finally, our broadcast is strongly supported by the StarCitizen Facebook community, aka Ready Player One, the epic info of the StarCitizen subreddit, Twitch, Twitter, and of course, the amazing people at CIG who keep our community alive and thriving. And now to the good stuff. Today, I would like to it is my pleasure to introduce our special guest, Brian Reigel, a fellow Star Citizen killing it all the way from DC. He's an original backer, rocking it from the very start with a broad list of assets at his command. He's currently flying for the Rogue Squadron. Hello, Brian.
Hey y'all, how's it going?
Oh man. Yeah, no, it's good to have you on. So second appearance here on the show. Hopefully it'll be much improved from your earlier time with us.
Yes, it will.
we shall see. So what I was going to say, so Rogue Squadron, I don't remember if we grilled you about your org back when the first time we talked to you, but give us a brief synopsis of what they do and why you fly for them.
So, I was one of the founding members of Rogue Squadron from way back in 2012, which may have been a little bit too early to start gathering for organizations.
Yeah,
but
I can see the wisdom of that.
Essentially, what we plan on doing is defense against griefing and all-out asshattery, and paramilitary mercenary work like escorts, trading, refueling, repair, for everybody in the verse, as long as you're not an asshat.
So nice. So you're basically aiming to kind of be like the space AAA and being the. It's definitely a noble goal. So I mean, I think it'll be a challenge to gauge when someone actually is griefing or what their motivations are, because a lot of times that's what defines it. But I kind of agree. It's anything that's supportive of the community as a whole is going to be a good thing. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to try to decipher, who's doing what as you're warping in or jumping into the situation.
Right. Well, I figure I definitely feel for you when you talk about some of the challenges that come for any org that started so early, and have you guys done all right with that? Have you made it through the rougher patches as people struggle with the marathon development process?
Yes and no. Our org has not as many active players, but I think as more and more that Star Station gets developed, people will start coming around and remember that there's a game.
Yeah, yeah. Well, especially nowadays with like, the changes with 2.4 persistence, the game actually is starting to have reasons to play, other than just fly around pew pew and not everybody's good with, being creative. Not everybody's good with, the sandbox. A lot of people enjoy direction, and it's why a lot of the theme park MMOs are so popular, I think, is because it's you log in, you do your mission, you log out. There's no, it's kind of mindless. It's part of why they're so fun or so addictive maybe, but at the same time they're also why they let some of the more, I guess, serious gamers that want to be more engaged down.
I
I
get
guess
you.
it's kind of a broad statement. I mean, so obviously that shoe doesn't fit every single player of any MMO, but and there's not really even a value statement of whether that's good or bad. I mean, if you enjoy it and you're having a good time, then you're doing it right, and that's the end of that anyway.
That's the only thing that matters.
Right. So I hear you are in the PTU doing a little testing. How has 2.4 been treating you so far?
Well, besides the common timeout errors that I've gotten on 2.4G,
Right.
H has been fairly stable. I was playing for a good 90 minutes last night, and I only CC or CTD
Right.
like
Right.
once, and I only had a timeout of once. So last
Nice.
build was very good.
Well, that was H because there's already an I and a J. I had problems with the H build myself. Like I got infinite loading screens, so like I would literally spend like 3 hours just logging in, try to load the universe. It sits on loading. It doesn't even freeze up. It just keeps blinking happily and merrily along. And eventually I'd have to Alt F4, crash out, relaunch it, redo it again, and like I think I got in like 3 or 4 times total while it was on H. So that was super frustrating. And then I would get in and like I had a couple of crashes out that were quick. I had a couple of play sessions that lasted a pretty fair while. But during the H patch, my biggest problem was my throttle, my left hand throttle. The Z axis didn't work, and so I'm glad that I wasn't the only one because they fixed that super quick. The patch that followed right after H totally cleared up that. I haven't had any more of the infinite loading screens. So Godric, you're in the P2 as well, but you were
Mhm.
saying that you haven't played a whole lot.
Yeah.
Tell us what you've got so far.
Well, okay. So I've logged in a few times, mainly just looking around, seeing what's new. Tried to get a Starfare, but all the landing pads were always full the few times that I
Yep.
was able to
Yep.
log in. I definitely think it's going into a good direction. I haven't been able to test out any of the persistent stuff yet. Um,
Yep.
so I can't really speak to that. I admit I'm a little bit disappointed with the whole close stuff, but this is just me personal. I don't really
Well,
I don't like the baseball caps. Come on, science
well,
fiction.
hey, you know
Science
what?
fiction. Get rid of the get rid of the
you're
baseball
you're
caps.
you're not alone. The first thing I did is I went and unequipped the baseball cap. You,
Yeah.
you know you can do that, right? Like you just got to find the hat. You've got to find the hat that you're wearing, and instead of it giving you the try on or buy option, it'll give you the unequipped or
Oh,
buy
okay,
option.
okay.
So the first thing I did was I ditched the baseball cap. So
Well,
you start with a little bit of money. You start with like 2750, I think,
yeah,
AUEC in order to
yeah,
play with. So
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
Well, and then the
yeah.
other thing was, okay, so the new, hollow table. I don't know what that system is called now, but
Item port, yeah.
item porting. So um, i- initially, I was, oh my God, I want my hollow table back. Okay, that was my initial reaction. I was like,
Right, right,
why would they even think of getting rid of the holo table and replace it with this? Now, it didn't take me very long to figure out how to do stuff. Um, so I like the direction where it's going, but I also think it's absolutely only in its earliest stage, and they definitely have
right,
to do a
right.
lot of work still on that.
Oh yeah.
So, for anyone who has not figured it out yet, um, you have to target the item port, and you have to have the item port blip dead center in the middle of your monitor for it to highlight. That was my biggest struggle
It
right
was
there.
a little confusing.
Yeah.
I think the part that tricked me is I'm so used to hitting F to activate use that even
Yeah.
when I got it highlighted, I'm like, why the hell isn't it working?
Yes.
And
Yes.
instead you have to left click with your mouse and then it brings up the holo table, which is completely separate from your other Mobi-Glass. So it
Yeah.
was a little not quite intuitive, but whatever, you know.
Yes.
I mean, I
So
do
yeah,
like that it's go ahead, Brian.
I was gonna add to that. Like when I first logged into the hangar and tried to do this item port system,
Right.
instead of, because I didn't know that they had those little node dots. I should have read the release notes like a good tester would have.
What?
But
Who reads?
I opened up the Mobi Glass and went to the item ports menu, and I was like, why can't I do anything? So I didn't do anything for that until I saw Board Gamer's
Right.
explanation
Right.
of the item port system. I was like, head slap. Duh.
Yeah. I even for me, like I had watched Board Gamers like how to God, I love his content. He's such a great
He is.
creator. Good voice, solid delivery, good
Hmm.
information
Yeah.
on the spot. Anyhow, I'd watched this thing, and at the time, I was on a road trip to Louisiana from Texas for work, and so me and the girl we're staying in a hotel outside of a military base, and we're doing the the support the military thing, and so I get on the connection and I actually updated my laptop with the PTU. And now let me tell you something, folks. My laptop is a nice laptop, from about 7 years ago. So
Oh well.
it's got a 1 gig video card, which at the time was top notch. And
Uh-huh.
it's got 8 gigs of RAM, and it's got an okay little processor like an i3. And
Uh-huh.
so it's nice for playing some games. However, Star Citizen needs like a minimum of 2 gigs of video RAM, and I can actually play it with an almost sort of kind of an acceptable frame rate, but I have to have the resolution turned from the native like 1600 by 900 down to some like abysmally small resolution where you can't even read the text in the options like or key binding menus. It's so bad. And so I logged in and I'm walking around my hangar trying to find the item ports because I just wanted to play with that one little feature, and I couldn't even find the dots on the ground because the resolution was so blurry.
Oh well.
Wow.
You know,
But dedication, man, dedication.
you know, just back to the item ports real quick.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about? So right now you have all the item ports on your ship. Um, you walk up to your ship, you target one of the item ports. How do you feel about the information that you're getting, like with what's equipped currently, and like what like, specifically like stats? Um, do you think that's something they're going to implement down the road so that I can see exactly? Well, if I'm going to put this cryo cooler in here, is that going to be more effective than the one that I already have in there? Do you think that's something that's going to be worked on?
If I may, I think that this item port UI is going to be pretty much just a drop in until they can get something better. At least until the piping system is fully developed, so they can relay that information back into the UI. I also do think that at some point the MobiGlass app will have all that information. But in terms of right now, it is definitely lacking some information. What do you guys think?
Oh, definitely. One of the first things I noticed was the fact that you couldn't. Whereas, I mean, as much as the holotable was an atrocity and a crime against all mankind and spacefaring races, the one nice thing, I liked about it, even over Holo Explore, the tool that was made online, was that you could compare like your shield stats or your power plant stats or your cooler stats. Now we don't even have a way to access that information. So like when you go to all the item ports for coolers and power plants, and I mean shields are still disabled for messing with, but when you go to it, it's completely worthless because all you have is a name. You have no other information other than what other ship it's equipped on, which that actually is really nice. But so I mean, yeah, they've got to add more information. But I don't know. But then on the flip side of it, one of the things I really do like about the item ports is that it forces you to kind of learn your ship. You have to walk around your ship and you have to find the various components. It actually makes you feel like you're working on your car, you know?
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. And besides the upper part of some of these ships, like the Starfarer,
it actually makes you feel
and
like
the Freelancer and the Connie,
right.
it does serve a nice purpose to be able to actually see what you're putting on your ship, as opposed
Yes.
to looking it through some hollow viewer or whatever.
Right. I also noticed from the patch from H to I, you were actually able to start modifying your weapons while on a platform at Port Olisar. So you could actually change your ship's loadout on the fly.
That
was
see that.
so nice. I did run into a couple of bugs where my screen would freeze in a blurred state and I lost all control of my character and I was you basically end up having to quit to the server menu and then relog back in, which was super frustrating. But even so, like I just oh my god, it's amazing. I suppose the only bad side about letting people modify their ships on the platforms is then you end up with people who sit on the platform forever.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's to be expected. That's part of it. Um, I wonder if it would not be a better idea for you to be able to load up to choose your loadouts right there from inside the station, from
That
where you choose the ship yourself.
Well, if they ever redo the holotable, because I remember there was concept art for the holotable back in the day, for a redo. Maybe when they do that, there will be both. Like you can do the item port system up close with your MobiGlass, or
Mhm.
you can go to a holotable inside so that you can kit out your whole thing from a terminal.
Or even put something like that on in the MobiGlass and use the Hollow
Oh,
Explorer like
yeah,
layout,
yeah.
Mm.
But
so that you don't
right
even
from
have
your
to use the
MobiGlass.
hollow table unless it's in your hangar.
Yeah,
Clever. I like it.
that would be even better. I mean, on that note, also, I hope that at some point they're going to change the magical appearance of the ship in your hangar. And I'm sure they will. Um, but right now you load into an empty hangar, you focus on the item port, and then choose your ship, and it just materializes.
Right. I mean, it's like the repair mechanic. I mean, we have space magic at the moment. Hopefully, down the road, it won't be quite so much like ships populating out of midair.
Yeah.
It
It'll,
does
it'll,
make. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say it'd be nice if like when you use the item port in your hangar and you cleared out the area, the floor opened up and your ship came up off of a lift.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to go into. Is like I kind of wonder how they'll realize that
Right.
spawning, because some of those ships are pretty big, and you don't have to have like an Elite Dangerous. You're you get raised up onto the platform and then you take off.
Right.
You know,
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like if the there's a lot of area on the space stations already that we don't have access to internally. So I mean, why couldn't they just make the stations a bit bigger and make it look like, a giant bay door opens and your ship autopilots out and parks at the, the spoke or whatever. But yeah, anyways.
I was
And then
specifically talking about like actually inside the hangar because at some point, they're gonna marry the two, where
oh
your
right,
hangar
right.
is gonna be on a space station or on a planet or something like that. So it'll just be interesting how they tackle
Well,
that
and the thing
presentation.
is I think back before procedural generation, and we knew, or not even procedural generation, but back before 64-bit, before the universe was as large as it was, I think everybody kind of accepted that we were going to have like instanced hangars where, everybody would leave the same, pad of hangars or whatever, but
Hmm.
everybody would be in their
Hmm.
own instance. And they had talked about that. They were like, there's no way we're going to be able to have, absolutely 100%, unique platforms, blah blah blah. But now, maybe,
I
maybe
wonder.
when you land on ArcCorp and you're flying around and the city is just 100 miles of city that literally you'll get a beacon to a specific landing pad that'll look like any other pads, but it'll be in its own unique location, and you'll actually have to land and dock and then catch a subway, a bullet train, or mag tube to a more communal location.
Well, but wouldn't that only apply to the asteroid hangar? I mean, so the asteroid hang because all the other hangars would be on Earth, wouldn't or
Well, yeah, well, I was
on a planet. I'm sorry, not Earth,
right.
on a
I
planet.
I was actually talking about the ones on planet. I mean, like,
Okay,
there's no
yeah, yeah.
reason I mean, I guess, and then the asteroid hangars would each have their own asteroids stationed around in orbit around the planet, like a ring.
I
Because I
wonder
mean,
how. Yeah, I wonder how that's going to work. I mean, asteroids are typically not around in a ring around a planet, but they have
they
their
could be
own. Well,
artificially moved, I would think.
well, yeah. I mean, like we have the asteroid belt around the sun. It goes around the sun, not
Right,
around
right.
a planet. So, and that's kind of what I'm imagining where one of the asteroid hangars would be located. So not around a planet itself, but just somewhere in the universe, going around a sun or something like that.
Right.
Well,
Well,
I think.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
You first.
I think that all depends on what you classify a asteroid is. I know, technically speaking, it's just a amorphous, blobby rock with minerals that are flowing around in solar system space.
Mhm.
But that same material is also a part of, the Saturn's rings. So,
No, actually, asteroid. There's a very clear definition on what an asteroid is. It's a rocky object orbiting the sun. And
Huh.
so if you have like a rogue piece of rock that's just flying through our star system, that's a comet. So a comet does not well, yeah, a comet does not necessarily orbit the sun. So no, there's very, very clear definitions on what an asteroid
Huh.
is.
So then what would the debris in the Oort cloud be considered? Are those
those are
just
those are I it's not as crystal clear because they're either planetesimals or they're asteroids, and the only time
huh.
an asteroid becomes a comet is when it comes closer to the sun, and you get the solar wind stripping off all the frozen ice and
Right.
gases.
You're right.
Right,
You're
right.
right.
Huh.
That is what, and I used the wrong term there. But you're absolutely correct. That is exactly what a comet is. I probably should have said meteor. Um, the Oort cloud, the definition of that, it's still basically an asteroid, or a cloud of asteroids, if you will, that surrounds the
right.
sun. And I don't know if they're close enough to the sun to be actually orbiting the sun. Um, but sometimes some of those objects are dislodged by whatever mechanical forces are at play there, and then they may fall towards the sun. So that,
Right.
I guess a meteor would be any object, whether it's from our planetary system's asteroid belt, or if it's coming from outer space somewhere.
Yeah. Some of the fiction that I've read that's, and of course it's not Star Citizen lore, but I mean I've seen some fiction where space mankind, when it reaches space, will, one of the first things that we do is we will push or pull asteroids into a planetary orbit around the planet,
Mhm,
because then while they're in orbit you can mine them at your leisure, and
mhm,
have a very short trip to get all of those resources down to the planet. And then as those asteroid bodies are hollowed out, what you do is you leave the shell, and then you reinforce it from the inside, and then you give the asteroid a spin to create 1 g of gravity on the internal. You run like a long tube of a high intensity light down the center of it on the internals, and then you basically grow. You can actually grow and create habitable zones within the asteroid, and you basically
mhm.
turn them into you know so basically the asteroids start out as a mining resource, and then they turn into industrial workstations as they're continually strip mined on the inside. But they're producing whatever they need to produce, and then all that shipped off. And then as the life cycle of the minerals that are available in the asteroid are depleted, it turns into like a commercial or a habitation zone. I
That's
don't know if Star Citizen is going to do all
That's
that, but
pretty well. I mean, there's a lot of solid science fiction concepts that are based on, well, concepts that are already being developed by NASA or other scientific
right,
bodies.
right.
But yeah, I would be happy if we saw only a fraction of some of those concepts in in Star Citizen. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, back to the asteroid hangar. I really wonder where, how that's going to work. Can I choose? Okay, I want my since it's a body that you can seemingly, move around. Do I get to choose where it's going to be located?
Right.
Will I have the ability to move it around even?
See, I guess, and that's kind of why I brought up the whole idea of having the asteroids that are being strip mined and used for resources and brought into orbit. Because if we have attained spacefaring culture, one, in the game we need a logical place to place asteroid hangars. So if you say that every planet that's being used for mineral rights or whatever has had these asteroids drug into an orbit, then it would make it easy to say that that planet would have an asteroid hangar,
Mm.
and
Hmm.
possibly. But of course, then at the same time, maybe that would make asteroid hangars too easily available, because then every planet would be assumed to have them. Um,
Hmm.
but then maybe the advantage of having an asteroid hangar over Revel in York, or a Selfland, or a or a, oh my goodness, AeroView down on the planet, is that the reason it's more expensive is because it's you don't have to pay those extra fees to be planet side, or have to the extra liftoff costs. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, I'm really stoked to find out.
Yeah.
I think, game mechanically speaking, because I know Chris and CIG have talked about this at some point, that the asteroid bases and asteroid hangars are going to be its own instance, and they're probably going to be spread out around the asteroid ring, or some
Right. Right.
planetary asteroid. And then once you get out of your own personal instance, quote unquote, or you'll spawn, air quotes,
Right.
at a
Right.
random point in the asteroid belt or the
Well,
planetary ring or whatever.
well, what
Huh.
about the ability to attack hangars? I mean, wouldn't that be logical that if someone is my declared enemy, or I'm going to attack a known pirate org because I hate pirates,
Right.
I mean,
Well,
can I attack their home base and just, take him out?
see, I think that that's what they're going to try to avoid, though, because for better or worse, I think players want to feel like they're fully safe in their hangar. They don't want to
Mhm.
feel like their hangar is persisting with all their goods in it while they're offline, and it can just be tampered with. So
Yes,
I can,
Yeah, okay, good point.
hangars will be a safe zone.
yes, yes.
However, bases will be persistent. So there is a difference.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, and that's the thing too, is I can see where like the allure of the pirate asteroid hangar back in the day in early CIG days was that it was this hidden base, this
Hmm.
hidden base amidst the asteroids that you couldn't find, and that would make a lot of sense to have it instanced where like once you leave it and fly a certain distance, then you just pop out somewhere in that asteroid field and you move on from there, and that's great, but and that would definitely fly at odds with the idea that I'd said earlier about asteroids being pulled into a orbit around a planet, and then you have unlimited number of asteroid bases that could actually be physicalized and unique to the players potentially. Maybe even the more players that take up residence around a planet, the higher the cost goes because the number of those go down. Um, but the thing with that is it's possible that down the road they may change it up. The whole like the asteroid hangar is the only asteroid hangar may change. You may end up turning into where you can rent a self-land on an asteroid and it's cheaper than a VFG, or is more expensive, or Revel in York has some. I don't know. They might mix that up because we haven't actually seen them. They that was all like concepting way back in the early days. So as so much has changed with the 64-bit and procedural generation, that who knows.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree because we don't know what CIG will do in the future. I mean, your whole scenario of capturing asteroids, bringing them into low Earth orbit or low planet orbit, mining them, and then selling them for real estate could happen.
No, for sure. It'll. I don't know. And it's funny because like I definitely don't want. I mean, CIG has spent so many years developing and taking criticism because it's taken extra time because the scope has changed. But at the same time, I don't want them to just check out and be like, all right, well, screw it. Let's just go ahead and, we've done good enough with ships and we've got some cool things in. Let's just go ahead and make all these other tertiary mechanics very basic and let's just put it in game and be done. Like, I want them to take it to the level of, kind of like the Oasis in Ready Player One. Like, why not? Like, it would be nice if down the road, instead of making it where their developers were the only ones that could really build and modify stations, since they already promised us modding tools, right, back in the original Kickstarter, then why not build that into the game? I mean, kind of on par with like how Space Engineers is. I mean, obviously
Mhm.
not, Space Engineer, aka, blocks in space, but why not put together tools for building bases and stations and things like that, and literally that all those wizards out there who do Minecraft building or Space Engineers building, and they can just build amazing things. They're going to be worth their weight in gold in game. You'll have organizations trying to recruit, and hey, we'll pay you if you'll help us build this station, and the kind of I mean, who knew that being a construction worker in a video game could pay? Yeah, my org sells UEC so that we can actually pay this dude who's really amazing as an engineer. That'd be ridiculous. What do you do for a living? Oh, I work in construction. Where do you work? I
Well,
in StarCitizen.
I'm a stewardess on the what was it, the Gemini?
No. The star. Oh yeah, no, the Genesis.
Starliner.
The Genesis. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Don't laugh. We make really good money.
Yeah,
Oh
but I
my
mean,
gosh.
if they're going to do that, and I have no doubt that they will at some point put that in the modding tools whenever that gets available to us. There'll have to be some vetting process though, so that they.
Right. I mean, and of course, anytime you have a giant public game, you always have the people who are going to try to build the giant, space penis.
Yeah.
But but then why not? You know what? If it then let it exist in game, and if people don't like it, they can try to blow it up. you know, I mean, I don't know.
This is true.
I mean, if you make it so expensive to build, like you know what I mean, like the material components and everything else, that it's just not worth building something stupid, then maybe people won't build stupid things.
If there's a if I think you no I think you give people way too much credit to be reasonable. If there's a way to do something,
Maybe.
people are going to do it. I
Oh,
mean, yeah.
If it
But-
can be done, it will be done on the internet.
Right. Well,
Absolutely.
that's the hard thing though, is like, I know Chris Roberts wants to tell a story and he wants to have this, overarching thing, but at the same time, the whole point was to drive away from the whole theme park environment too. So, you kind of have to build the tools and then let the crowd go wild,
I mean,
Because if you don't, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, just look at real life right now. That thing where in Britain they named that Arctic research vessel Bodie McBoatface. People are doing
Hey,
these things in real life.
Whoa. Story time. Tell us more.
Oh, you didn't hear about that?
No.
Oh, okay. So the British government.
Brian, have you heard of this?
Yes, I read this on Facebook
Oh, God
somewhere.
Well,
Okay,
shit.
so
Okay, give me the brief version.
The British government, they put out a poll saying, "Hey, we have this new Arctic research vessel, and we want you, the public, the citizens of the UK, to give it a name." So somebody came up, suggested, "Hey, why don't we call it Bodie McBoatface?" And people voted for it, and it became number one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and that was the popular vote. However, the science minister, whatever his title is, of the UK, intervened and said, "No, that's not what we're going to name it."
Oh, come on. Come
Yeah.
on. The people
So-
have spoken. Dude, I need to name my first ship Bodie McBoatface. That is too rich. Too
Just
rich.
in honor of that.
Well, that's like the scandal around like when Mountain Dew was like, "Hey, we're gonna let the community, our fans, name one of our drinks," and that totally went to shit just as quick.
Yeah, don't underestimate the power of stupid people in large crowds.
I don't know, man. Bodie McBoatface. That's pretty good. Oh, anyway. So, PTU. Yeah, right. Okay, that's what we're talking about. So,
That's a nice little tangent we got on. I liked it.
I know it's great. So, what do you guys think of the clothing so far? Like, have you guys bought any clothing? Have you played dress up yet?
I have.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think Godric may agree with this, but even though the CIG artists like spend a lot of time on this and they look awesome, there's just not a whole lot of variety. I mean, you have like 4
Right.
shirts, 4 pants, 4 hats,
Right.
but just with different colors.
Yeah,
I'm just-
it's a start. I mean, it's like a proof of concept at this stage. Just enough to give us a tease and a taste. I mean, it is. It's hard to find a good outfit that I like. Like I'm like, man, if it just had this one other color, What So what colors did you guys go with? Like, let's hear it. Spill it. How'd you dress up?
I haven't bought anything, but I've only tried on a couple things just to see how the interface works and and all that. So
Right on.
I haven't really experimented with different.
Now you know the trick to buying, right? This actually screwed me over for a little bit because I was like, why can't I buy anything? You have to when you click F to like try it on or whatever, and it gives you the option of buy and try on or buy. You have to use your mouse wheel to scroll to embolden which one whether you buy it.
Yes.
And I was like, what the hell am I doing wrong? Why can't I buy anything? Oh my God, I'm an idiot, but I figured it out.
Yeah, it didn't take me too long to figure out that part.
Shut up.
I didn't see the unequip option there, but
Right.
ultimately I didn't buy anything because I don't know. It seems to me that right now it's all the same piece of clothing with just
Right,
with
but
different prints.
sure, but they're wiping it, so you might as well spend your money and play around with it. That
Well,
was my
yeah,
thinking.
true.
I mean, because I couldn't find the. I ended up going with white shoes, red pants, a gray and red top, and then a white jacket that was open, and no hat. And I thought that looked pretty good. But I saw some people rocking out with the all white outfits, and that looked pretty good too. But I didn't want to copy them. But
Well,
it's so
for
hard.
that
It's hard not to
matter,
copy.
for that matter, it's also a fest of men in boxer shorts running around
Oh
because
my God.
people are not aware that they accidentally unequipped all of their clothes.
All you have to do is put on a helmet, and you can be naked outside in space.
Really?
What? How do you only put on the helmet?
I don't know, but I saw it on the subreddit, and I thought that was pretty badass. I mean, it could have been a bug.
Oh, you know what? I'll bet you what they're doing is they're equipping the flight suit, then they're going into Kasaba Outlet and equipping a shirt and equipping pants, equipping boots, and you know what I mean? So it doesn't affect the helmet because the helmet's in the head slot.
Maybe.
Awesome.
Maybe.
We'll have to test it and report it. Oh my God. That's actually, so jumping back to talk about something earlier, we were talking about how the item port system worked with ships and weapons. And I was talking about how as of patch I and J now, you're able to change your loadout on your ship via item port while you're on the landing pad. What I wanted to test, but I didn't have a chance because I crashed and I went to bed or something, I don't know. Anyway, but what I wanted to try testing is I wanted to take my ship into deep space, EVA, and see if I could change its loadouts just while floating in space. You know what I mean? Because then potentially while you're flying around, if you get damaged, instead of flying back to Cryastro and paying money to have your ship repaired, just pull on over, baby, and do the repairs yourself.
Yeah, I mean that's the magical.
Save that money.
Yeah, the magical hand wavium. Okay, I'm
Right,
gonna repair this. Yeah, I mean,
right.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Obviously,
you should
that
be
would
able
be a
to
bug
do.
that you shouldn't.
Right.
But
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, you should be able to do some minor repairs while you're, on
right,
the road. Just like you pulled over and you have a flat tire,
change a tire.
so you're gonna
Yep.
put the donut, on there. But all out repairs now, obviously, that can happen.
Yeah, I mean, I could see suspending my disbelief for now just to pretend that it's a repair, like EVA repair, because that's still pretty cool. That's awesome. I flew off into deep space and I did the repairs myself. That's pretty awesome. I mean, and that would only work so far as replacing weapons and missiles, if quote unquote it works. We have to test it. But long term, of course, that shouldn't work unless you actually physically carry the weapon with you and have the right tools and yada yada to do the actual mounting and unmounting and remounting all EVA stuff with grabby hands.
Yeah, I was going to mention that right now you can pretend that that's all in your cargo space.
Right.
Pretend that you have a cargo space for fighters. So it kind of works. But yeah, this is definitely first implementation if this works.
I know. I can't wait to test it. That's gonna be. I got to remind myself that's gonna be the first thing I test when I log in. So I've got Patch J downloaded. It's just
So
waiting for
Alphon
me.
user 420 here is asking if they will go further than if they will go further with ship customization and weapon customization than what we have seen so far. The short answer is yes, absolutely. They're going to take it
Yeah.
further. I don't know the specifics. Ion or Brian, do you want to go into detail there?
I can only say what I have heard from CIG, and this was a while back. But yes, they will. We will be able to highly customize our weapons and our ships. Um, but by customizing, I mean by overclocking
Right. Right.
and that kind of stuff.
The
So
the internal performance characteristics of the weapons. Now, the only difference would be first-person shooter weapons. You'll have external customization because you'll have a port system where you can mount scopes and silencers and range finders and fucking lights and whatever doodads and doomahickeys you want. So hopefully, I mean, I will not hopefully. We know that they intend to do that. We just know that they've originally said that it probably won't be quite as in depth as, say, Call of Duty or Battlefield, where their whole game is based on that. But we'll still have some customizing. At least I hope that answers this question.
speaking of weapons, for those of us who have gotten, rewarded or purchased or found weapons, what do you think?
Ooh, I like it. Well, it bummed me out. I got to admit, when I was completing missions and finding fancy weapons, and then I log out and I come back and my weapons are gone. I was like, that's so
What?
sad.
No
Oh,
persistence there?
no persistence for found or scavenged weapons. If
Oh.
it's a weapon that you've purchased via UEC, then those persist because those are tied to the database.
So I can't steal someone's ship and it's still going to be mine when I log back in.
Correct.
Yeah, that's true. I hadn't even thought about that. I guess that's the case. Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
That
But
probably won't come until much later, probably in the beta.
maybe, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
for some reason, I thought that that's what we were going to see, and I hadn't even thought about the fact that,
I
as
kind
far
of
as
doubt
ships are
it.
concerned, yeah.
I mean that we kind of went into that question a few weeks ago whether that specifically that was going to be the case. I kind of doubted that because it um in the first iteration of persistence it would seem that would be it would be like I think that's going to be like the fifth, sixth, seventh, several
Right. Down the
steps down
road,
the
yeah.
road. Yeah.
Yeah, it would make more sense for them to figure out because like right now with the weapons that you find, I kind of think that I don't know. I think that the stuff that you find out in the field should either be more rare, so it's harder to find items like that. But when you do find them, they do persist, or they have a monetary value that you can then sell because maybe you find the weapons, but they're scrapped, they're not functional, and then you turn them in for UEC, and then you can turn around and buy something with the UEC that is persistent. Because I feel like anything that you earn through the course of doing a mission should be persistent. But to be the devil advocate for my same argument, I can see kind of why they have it right now because it means that you can either go and do missions, earn money, buy the weapons, or you can just run a mission where you can pick up a weapon or go scavenge a weapon, and the weapon was easy to get, cost you nothing, but it doesn't persist. If you want something that's going to be consistent, then you got to pay the money.
For
But
now, yeah.
For now, yeah.
Yeah.
So as a temporary solution.
TJ Yak is asking, will the found weapons be persistent after 2.4? The short answer is yes, but we don't know if it's going to be in 2.5 or possibly further down the road. I mean, obviously, at some point, yes, they're going to be persistent. We just don't know what patch it's going to be, and yet there's no official confirmation when those things will take place at this point.
Right.
I guess the question is, when do you think it will be implemented?
2.4K.
I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, I don't know. It's just impossible to say. We don't really have enough information. It's pure speculation. I
Yeah.
could say
Yeah.
2.5. I could say 2.8. I just don't have anything to go on.
Yeah, it's kind of a toss up too, because I feel like if they did it with hand weapons first, it would be easier because there's less items to track, and because it's smaller, and because those are the kinds of rewards you see, as opposed to doing, say, ship persistence, where like if you stole a ship, it persists in your inventory. But at the same time, the game is supposedly more about spaceships than it is about FPS. So maybe ships would be first because it's more of the core mechanic of the game. So I don't know,
Good
but
points.
just like you said, Godric Ben, it's just we have no official information. So I'm sure that they're juggling the when and how because they don't know either. It's just a matter of what they get working in time.
Right. Yeah.
Well, my prediction is it's going to be married with certain mechanics, like being able to pick up loot, for lack of a better term, from missions
Yeah.
and selling them. I think would be either the first or second implementation of a microeconomic
Oh,
mechanic.
give it to me now.
And I think ship dealing persistence, if that's a thing, is when we can start locking up our ships.
Right. Yeah, that'll be nice when we can do that too, because you know those poor Starfarer captains are fucking having a rough night of it. Get off my ship! No. Oh man. But that's one feature I haven't had a chance yet to test is FPS inside of the bigger ships. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I've only spawned the Starfarer once, and I got her up to super cruise speed, decoupled, jumped out, walked around, looked around, was having a good old time. And as I walked down the hallway to the rear turret, I clipped through and died. And I was like, oh well, that was it.
Nice. That's farther than how I got. I only spawned my Starfarer Gemini once, and might get into this a little bit later, but my HOTAS system wasn't working, or wasn't correctly mapped, so I had to rely on keyboard and mouse, which is a little bit different than HOTAS. It's not as intuitive.
God, it is. It is so different. Not only is it different, but then they just changed it all too.
Yes. And the one thing that kind of stuck with me with that flight is that reflection in the viewport of the Starfarer. It's like, my God, why can't CIG lessen that on every implementation? Because they know, like every new ship that's come out, they've always had that super reflexive canopy or viewport or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I noticed that. I'm like, dude, we have to fix this on like every brand new ship. Why? Oh well, whatever. Have either of you guys played around with any of the armor, the FPS armors, the Pirate of the EE side?
No, have not yet.
Neither have I. I just, from what's on the shops, I just looked and like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
RSI has a lot of fancy armors.
Well, I haven't tested in this newest J patch. I'm hoping they fixed it, but in the H and the I patch at least, for the pirate armor, both the medium. I purchased the medium. I went out to EVA, and my character just went completely on crack. Like I just started drifting, and my character's torso was all twisted up and couldn't control myself. So then they wiped it, and we started over. So this time I made enough money, and I bought the light armor. Same thing. And I heard from others that the heavy armor was performing the same way, and I guess it was even the same with the UEE armor. So apparently, guys, be careful, because if you spend the money on the armor, make sure that you're catching a ride on a multi-cruise ship, or if you're piloting over to Korea, that you actually land and get out. Because if you try to EVA, you're in for some You're in for some derp.
Some Gumbies.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Speaking of Korea, have you guys followed up on all the crazy changes there?
No, what's going
Pretty-
on there? Tell us about it.
Oh, well, first of all, I'll give a shout out to Old Board Gamer because, Johnny on the spot over there, he rocked out a nice video that covers a lot of the changes. So if you want to need the details, go for his video. He'll walk you through it. The short bluff of it, though, is there's some layout changes. There's actual spawnable loot in the station. So you were talking earlier about the baby economy, but you can actually, it was his idea that he suggested to devs and they actually put it in the game, but apparently you can actually find like wine or like miniature shipments of alcohol, and I guess if you find it, you loot it, you get UEC as a reward. But so if you're playing the good guy role, you need to rescue comrades, do like 3 or 4 of them. If you complete the comrades, successfully kill the pirates, turn them on, you are offered a job as a defender. If you accept the job, then you fly to Korea, you land, you go to the terminal inside, and then once you like check in and accept the job there, you get paid like 1,000 UEC twice, I guess. And it's like once at the beginning and once if you make it to 10 minutes. But then basically for 10 minutes, you got to defend that location. And any would-be attackers that you kill, you get like a 250 UEC reward per, I think. I'm not sure how long that lasts. I don't know if it's like every single 10 minutes you just get, more money and you can just sit there and, rack it up if it's a slow day or what. But it sounds like they've made a lot of changes, not just to the layout. I suppose the coolest thing is they've added a monitor that you can look at that shows you which airlock is power cycling or opening, so you can actually know where to scramble your forces to intercept would be breaching enemies. So basically, it sounds badass.
Sounds like the first implementation of
Awesome.
Star Marine and like a team deathmatch based, mission objective gameplay.
Yeah, it sounds like they're working hard to give parties a reason to come to the same location and fight against one another. Okay, go for it.
I was just gonna say that definitely seems like something I want to test out when I get into J, maybe later on tonight.
Yeah, I know. Like I don't know what I was thinking, but in H&I just completely spaced Korea altogether, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't mess with that. I'm gonna fly around and kill things and do this, and I was too busy like farming up rec to like try out the different heavy armors and things like that, and that was the thing too, is like I got the armor and I was like, awesome, now I'm just gonna get a little bit more money, get some weapons, then I'm gonna go FPS. And then I flew out, I killed some pirates, I parked my ship next to a comrade, I hit exit ship, and then my character goes into Gumby derp. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Anyhow. Have you guys, what's been your favorite method of earning rec? Have you, or not rec, I'm sorry, E or Alpha UEC?
Well, for me, I've only done the ICC missions, so that's pretty much my extent. But
have you when you were doing the missions, have you gotten the come to Korea and pick up the defensive mission?
No, I only played a few ICC missions, and I know that there was
ICC.
one.
I'm sorry, I was thinking Comrade. I'm done.
That's all right.
Oh.
I know there was one mission for the ICC. I'm not sure if they patched it in the latest update, but you can farm a lot of Alpha UEC from this one mission. It's the one where you go and find the black box. You get about 3,000 Alpha UEC. So you can, if you can do that mission over and over and over again, you can make a lot of money.
Holy cow! But I mean, I thought every time you went back to the ICC, it just gave you the next mission.
It does, but I think I haven't tested. But after you get to the last ICC mission, it just recycles.
Oh,
I think so
interesting.
anyway.
Well, that would definitely be pretty quick. And you're right. Like I did the ICC 1, and I got like 1,000, and then I got another 1,000 immediately after doing it. I went over to one of the green scavenger areas that was in that area, and I picked up like a sniper rifle. I saw a whole crate full of Benny's gourmet food, rotting in space, and yeah, and it was a good day. And then the game crashed.
Hooray for crashes!
Mhm.
How about you? What's your favorite way of gaining the monies?
Well, I started. I was. I listened to board gamers, how to farm whatever, while I was on the road. So when I came back, I gave that a try, and I've definitely gotten very quick at navigating through the private investigator mission over at Kovalex. Basically you fly out, you run in there, you grab you fly to the very last data pad, you get the codes for the door, you double back, you go to the door, the locked door, you open up the door, you get the weapon, you get the other data pad that tells that where the woman admits that they set up the guy and caused the whole thing, blah blah blah. And so then you go over and you upload the data, and you immediately get rewarded with 1,000 UEC. So, and Board Gamer's recommendation is immediately, as soon as you get that update, just suicide, because it's faster than flying back to Port Olisar. Because as soon as you get back to Port Olisar, you or even if you respawn, as you wake up, the woman who hired you thanks you and says that there was a bounty and she got reward money, and here she's going to give it to you. So she pays you another 1,600. So basically, in that one run, you get 2,600 EUC. And as long as you wait until she finishes talking and it updates your total amount, you could potentially quit the server, go back to the main menu, re-log into the server, rinse, wash, and repeat. So, I mean, I guess that depends on how quickly you load into the game, and if you kind of want a more non-combat oriented way to earn money, it's pretty reliable. The only problem is during patch H, I was able to log in once every few hours after fighting through infinite loading screens. So that wasn't really an option. So to answer the question, I would go and do the PI mission first thing, and then after that, I would hit up various comm arrays on my way back to Port Olisar, and then I'd land and get my update. That's another thing too. Is apparently how when you die, you're supposed to lose UEC for dying. That's not happening yet, at all.
I think it's on certain occasions. I think when you suicide respawn, you don't have to pay money. But if your ship explodes or something like that, you do have to pay. I'm not sure how much, because that's never happened to me. I'm such a great pilot. I'm not.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's interesting. We'll have to check that and see. Huh. Have you guys? So, what do you think about the AI and the pirates around the comm arrays right now?
I honestly haven't gotten that far yet. That's one of the things I was going to try out tonight.
Okay. Well, I will say this: while the ICC missions, I don't know if you had problems with the voice acting. Like I had none when I flew into the ICC probe. Tessa didn't talk to me. I just got an update. I flew out to the black box. I got no voice when I clicked the use button. I mean, I got my money updated and the mission updated, but the voices were broken for the ICC for me. But when you fly into a comm array, as soon as you get there, man, there is some shit talking going on, and it's pretty cool. I'm like, oh, you pirate motherfucker, I am gonna kill you in your face. Talking smack to me, that is just not gonna fly. So you get your blood going.
I can't wait until I experience this, because for the ICC missions, I got the Tessa comm and the and the audio logs from the black box and all that. So
Nice. Yeah, like I missed it because I was hoping that maybe they had updated it, or even if they hadn't, I was just looking forward to it.
no, from what I've heard, it's just the same old, same old.
Right, right. Yeah, and that's a funny thing too. Is one thing I did notice is even just doing the first ICC mission, they changed the layout of Crusader again because the first jump uses up a lot of fuel. I'm talking like 22% to the first jump and back, and then 22 back, or whatever it was. It was a lot.
Oh, to the ICC probe, or
No,
not to the first
out to the first unidentified beacon.
Oh, is it really that much?
It was a lot I think I was doing the jump in like an F7C at the time, so I don't know what its fuel tank is like, but and that's an interesting too. Is back in 2.3, and it might have been because I played a lot of 2.3 in the PTU, and while I was in the PTU, I had noticed that I could do like the first 7, 8, or 9 ICC missions, and I could do them all with a single seater ship. But once I got to like the final couple of missions, jumping from the closest Cryastro out to the beacon took up more than 50% of my fuel. So it was a one-way trip. So I realized that like once you got to that point, you had to get out of a single seater and switch to a multi-crew to get to those final ICC missions. But every time I've tried to do it since then in live, I've made it all the way up to like ICC 9, I think, and then the game would crash. So I've never been able to get to the point where I had to use a multi-crew to finish the ICC missions, and I was so looking forward to that. But since these ones are taking so much fuel right off the bat, I wonder if that's going to play a part of it. Like some of the missions, maybe they're too long range to do with a single seater.
Or maybe you have to plot out your jumps. Go to jump to Cryastro, buy some fuel.
Right.
Jump to the mission, jump back to Cryastro, and then.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying is back in 2.3, the time where I found that I ran out of fuel, I actually did do that. Like I jumped to ICC and I already knew how far it was, so I jumped out to the Cryastro that was closest to that distant relay, filled up, and it was like 62% fuel, and I'm like, well, okay then, and I did it, and then I ended up having to suicide, but then it crashed, and I was never able to actually try doing the next one, the follow-on mission with a bigger ship.
I haven't gotten into any higher ICC missions. I've always crashed or had something come up. So I do know Captain Richard, who streams like every day.
Yep.
He's done it. And it took him like several tries to get it done, but I think at one point he did get it done.
Nice.
It did every mission in the PTU or on the universe PU.
Right. Yeah, no, and that's super cool. I would love to do that. Like, it drives me nuts that every time it crashes. I think the thing that pisses me off the most is that, like, you get so used to hearing Tessa and some of the missions that you're like, oh, I've heard this one. Oh, I've heard this one. Oh, I've heard this one. And so I just want to get to the higher missions because I want to hear the ones that I haven't heard yet.
I hear you on that.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So, the salt or pirate life, how hard is it? Have Godric, Brian, have either of you tried being an outlaw yet in this new brave new universe?
Not really. Haven't really played enough to test out any of that stuff yet.
What do you think about the motivation changes? Because I get the impression like now it's like I'll be flying somewhere, I'll be like, oh, look at that guy, he's totally in the open, I could totally just shoot him in the head or blow up his ship, and I'm like, but if I do that, it'll mess up everything that I'm doing.
I don't know. I think that the time penalties for the levels are a little bit too much for testing purposes.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
If you get to
I
level
feel,
5, at least.
yeah,
I'm not sure if it's G or H,
it's
but
15 hours.
yeah.
Well, I feel like, well, right now, because they're wiping the patches, like in J especially, I'm gonna get in, I'm gonna go earn some rec, I'm gonna get like some medium armor for when I want to FPS, and I'm gonna get, a couple of my favorite choice FPS weapons, and then, a nice spacesuit to look all bling bling, and then I'm gonna go rogue, guys. I'm gonna kill everybody because it needs to be tested for science.
Just make sure in the dark zone. The zing.
No, but I think but it's interesting because here's another thing. So with the comm arrays, when you pop in on a comm array, 2 pirates spawn per player. So you're killing these 2 pirates, and then some other dingleberry pops in, and then 2 more pirates spawn, and then so now you're sitting there fighting the damn pirates that he spawned, and then he goes and parks his ship, jumps out, goes and gets the comm array activated, and basically gets the money, and you're like, you motherfucker. Now I'm just saying that there's a moment there where you're like, I really want to blow you up. Like when you see like 3 players jump in while you're fighting 2 pirates and now it turns into 8 pirates, you're like, I just kind of want to murder everybody here, all of you. Still not gonna pirate, not at all.
Wait. I can see where you're coming from, because that would really piss me off too. But it is a valid tactic because it is in the game.
Oh, sure. But I mean, well, so is killing them. You just have to deal with the repercussions of being a bad boy for an hour.
Well, that's only if they reactivate the comm arrays.
Oh, that's true. Well, no, because obviously if they, I guess that's true. Maybe if you kill them before they get in. If you kill them before they get in to turn the comm array on, you'll just kill them. You won't be a pirate, and then you can go and turn it on and get credit for being the good guy. Oh my
That's
god!
also assuming,
We're gonna try that.
That's also assuming that because I know the Crusade Industry Security spawns in,
right?
to help you with the pirates. Maybe they don't.
Not right now.
With the deactivated comm link.
No, yeah. When it's deactivated right now, it's just been me versus pirates. I did have not infinite, but I did have a bug once where another player jumped in, so 2 pirates spawned for him, and then 2 more, and then 2 more, and then 2 more, and then 2 more. They kept spawning in as fast as I could kill them. It was crazy. And the thing was I was flying a gladiator, and I'd already changed my gladiator missile mounts out to the triple racks, so I had 12 missiles across the top that were size 2, and I had a full mix of every type of missile. Then I had the 4 size 3 torpedoes under the bay, and then I had and then I had some decent weapons on the nose. And so I'm like, okay, we're gonna go for lots of pirates. I'm just gonna unload, and I launched 16 missiles. It was fantastic. Not at once, because you can only fire like 1 or 2 at a time, but like just missile, and then you start seeing the cluster missiles, spread out. And oh god, it was glorious. At the very end, me and the other player are still alive. There were 6 pirates, and then at full shields with no damage, something one-shotted me, and I died. And I was like, really? Ah.
Oh, that sucks. Was this at 2.3.0?
No, this is 2.4. This is 2.4 This is just the last patch.
Oh,
was
really?
Earlier today. It was great though. Like just seeing them just keep pouring in. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Wow, that's pretty intense. But that was fun though.
It was a blast. But yeah, anyhow. Let me see. Let me check and see if there's any more community questions. I don't think so. Let's see.
In the meantime, I do have one thing I want to ask, and I was thinking about putting this on the issue council. But I'm kind of leery about that because this is more of a game function, like game engine function, as opposed to like a bug. I mean, it could be a bug. But anyway, on my computer, I have 3 or 4 inputs, and from what I can gather from the control mapping in Star Citizen, that they automatically map input 1 and input 2, because I have the Warthog HOTAS, as those 2 joysticks. But my joystick, my HOTAS, is input 3 and input 4, or input 2 and import 3. So I can't the Warthog standard, mapping without, doing an XML like complete rewrite.
Really? What other devices do you have plugged in? Like, do you have like a GS13, or I mean a G13, or like a console controller style thing plugged in?
Well, according to SC Joystick Mapper, like one of the XML editors.
Right, I know what it is. Yep.
I have 4 of them in, and one is the actual keyboard. The second
keyboard.
One, it counts it as a as an input.
Why do you what is there something special about your keyboard that it has some crazy input? That's really weird.
I have a Razer Deathstalker Ultimate, that video coolness that came out like a handful of years ago. Well, I have one of those, and I think, pardon me,
Salut.
The mouse pad that's on it maybe act as an input. I don't know. All I know is that joystick 1. Oh, joystick 1's my rudder pedals.
Okay.
Joystick 2 is the keyboard.
And then your throttle and your stick are 3 and 4.
Yeah, joystick and throttle.
See, so Windows should be able to handle 4, I believe, without problems.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I mean,
they all work perfectly fine. It's just Star Citizen. The default key mappings are for inputs 1 and 2.
Well, so I mean, so basically, have you custom made yours in the game and then exported it, so that way you can always replace it? Because I mean, you should be able to get around that. I mean, I ignore their default key bindings anyway. I don't think I've ever used their defaults for anything. I mean, I try to leave the keyboard defaults alone just because that makes it easier on voice attack. But yeah.
I was in the middle of making a new mapping for myself, like a personalized mapping. But I know in these PTU tests, they want us to test the default layouts just to give feedback.
Bullshit. I mean, I think that might be fine if you're. I think the point of testing the default map is when you're testing the keyboard, because the keyboard is so integral to so many other things. But for your HOTAS, like why would you ever fly? Like, I mean, as long as you can map all the buttons and and you'll know that just by remapping it. Like, I don't know. Yeah, there's no way I'm flying default because like mine's way too unique and specialized.
Oh yeah, no doubt, and I'm really liking this mapper. It's really nice once you get your head around on how to utilize it.
Right.
But what I was going with this is, in Elite Dangerous, I don't have this problem. Like, the default map's perfectly fine. So I was wondering if I should put a issue council report saying that instead of using like an input, use the device names to map. Right.
That would be nice. I mean,
or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see that they're making changes to the overall key mapping, and they've added all this stuff. Oh, by the way, guys, if you didn't know, they've added a whole section for ground vehicles. Ground vehicles.
Only until a matter of time until that Ursa comes out.
Yeah, and the links. But yeah. So I mean, I know that they're making progress with that, and that's fantastic. But I see. So I do. I hope that they polish it up, and they've got to. They've got to before the end, because, I mean, the product's got to be polished for the general public. eventually.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I mean, I guess I can't really answer that. I mean, but I mean, I guess we just wanted. It was just a matter of talking about it. So, anyhow, so you ready for us to move on to questions more specific to you, good sir?
Sure. If there isn't any community questions from.
No, we asked the one earlier, like midstream, that somebody posted, and then we've got Captain Nex asking if Squadron 42 will release before or after Line of Defense 2. Trolltastic. I mean, I did tell them that DS was going to be a guest interview today, but oh gods.
I see how you look at me as. No, I'm just kidding.
Derek, is that you?
It was me all along. Ha 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 ha. Sandy Gardner is blood. I can't even. I can't do it.
I can't even. Can't even. All right. So okay, all right. So hey, so what have you been playing right now? I mean, like aside from Star Citizen, or has that been all you've been playing?
Ever since I got invited to 2.4 G, I've been testing that, but I also been hopping around Uncharted 4, which is really nice. It's actually surprisingly looks good for a console game.
Nice. I've heard a lot of really amazing things about Uncharted, and of course that's why it's their exclusive, because they got to hold on to that. I mean, who doesn't want to be Indiana Jones?
Yeah, the setup I have is actually kind of nice because recent update to the PlayStation 4. You can stream to your computer, and I have my PlayStation 4 on my LAN here. So I can stream it to my computer, so I don't have to go downstairs and look at a TV. I can just sit up here in my gaming rig and play both PC and PlayStation 4, so it's kind of nice.
Ah, fucking badass. I gotta stop swearing so much. My soldier's showing. Not as bad as some nights.
Well,
yeah,
the stream is marked as mature, so.
And the other game is I'm still kind of futzing around with the Division.
Okay.
And Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Oh, I've heard
game.
That's amazing.
Great game.
I think the other Tomb Raider, the first one was not the first one, but the one that right before this, was like the only single player game that I finished in like 4 years.
Yeah, I like the direction where they're going, especially with Rise of the Tomb Raider. It seems like they're building up to what Tomb Raider was originally. Yeah, what it was originally. A little more focus on
the raiding of the tombs.
Yes, exactly, and trying to figure stuff out. I still don't think it's hard enough, but they're going in a good direction.
Yeah. I'm not too surprised. I mean, this last one was really fun and good, and I really liked the character, and I liked the gameplay was fun, but there were like no tombs. The tombs that were there, like I would finish them and be like, that was it. That's all. I mean, but even so, it was still enjoyable. So it's on my wish list, but I haven't wanted to put the money towards a game that I may or may not, make the time to play right now. How about you, Godric? What have you been playing? You been playing anything besides Star Citizen?
Well, the new Fallout 4 DLC was just released a couple of weeks ago, so I've been playing that.
Nice.
It's pretty good. Far Harbor.
Right on.
And then I also just got Doom.
Oh, a little pew pew action there.
Yeah,
that's classic too. How well does it honor the old school?
Can't say yet. I only started playing today.
Okay.
But seems maybe a little too much pew pew. I hope there's going to be more challenges. More of a story elements like in the one prior. And I hope it's going to be a little more atmospheric, but a little more suspenseful. So we'll see. We'll see how it is.
Yeah. Well, for me, I've been since I've gotten home, I've been trying to play the PTU and get a bunch of bugs reported, and that's been going okay. Between that, I finally got off my lazy ass and did all the tutorials for Space Engineers, and I'm in my first survival map down on an Earth-like planet, and you know, dug a giant hole in the side of a cliff and managed to park my ship in there and try to take cover from the meteor storms, and then I stripped it down, and I'm just a complete noob. Like, I'm struggling with my first land vehicle, which is not even like they say that building flying ships is way easier than building a wheeled vehicle, but I'm determined. So it's it's been a lot of build and then break it apart and then rebuild and then break it apart, and but it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
So Brian, so you've been with the project from the start. So speaking of which, how in the world did you find out about it so early? You had said something about like you found out about the website like 2 days after it went live. What was your first pledge story? I don't know if I asked you this last time you were on the show, but bear with me in my old man brain.
No. They haven't asked this question. So
Okay.
I do believe I was sitting on a leather reclining chair at the time I heard about this.
So specific.
Yeah.
What were you wearing, big boy?
That's for your imagination, child. But I was looking at GDC stuff on IGN. I know it's IGN, you know. And then I saw that they made an announcement that Chris Roberts doing a new game. So at the time, I didn't know who Chris Roberts was. I knew about Wing Commander, but I didn't know that he created him.
Right.
So I watched the GDC presentation on October 10th, and I was like, holy shit, this is a game that I've wanted to play, build, whatever, for the longest time. It's an awesome idea, and it took me a couple days to really think about if I wanted to pledge or not. But I eventually pledged. I think I got my very first package was the Bounty Hunter package with the 300i.
Yeah.
And then it just spiraled out of control from there. Let's see. I got one of those, but before the Kickstarter ended, I got one of the Connie special packages with the signed copy.
Oh yeah.
And I got a freelancer package. I got what else did I get? I got what's the kernel package with the F7C?
Oh shit. Yes, it's the kernel patch. There was the digital kernel or the physical.
I had all of them except for the Bounty Hunter was physical.
Nice.
So yeah, that's how I found out about Star Citizen. I was 2 days shy of getting that damn golden ticket.
Oh God! Don't even talk to me about the golden ticket. I'm
a special snowflake. I need that golden ticket.
I need it so bad, and it's stupid account bound, bull crap. I'm gonna mug somebody. So,
I know, right,
dude? Yeah. And the thing is same kind of story for me. Like, I didn't know who CR was, but I knew Wing Commander, and it was one of those really amazing games that I'd wanted to play when I was a kid, but didn't have a computer that was good enough, and so I just missed out on it. And then so my story was more around like Free Space 1 and 2 and the Descent series, and then Homeworld 1 and 2 and things like that. That was where I got my interest. But yeah, same thing. Like, a buddy across the hall came by and was like, "Hey man, do you hear Chris Roberts is starting a new game?" And I'm like, "Who's that?" And he's like, "Wing Commander." I'm like, "Oh, let me know." So that, but even then, like, I just gotten burnt by MWO and some other games, or like Planetside 2, MWO, Terra, and I was just like, I'm done with backing, games and then especially at like $110 for the freelancer or the kernel, the Hornet, and what's funny about that is part of the reason that I waited the extra month and a half before I bought in was because I couldn't pick. I couldn't choose between the freelancer or the Hornet, because I knew that both styles of gameplay I liked both, and I was going to be good at both. I just had to pick one or the other, and I couldn't pick. And so when I finally came back and finally splurged, I just didn't pick. I just got the Constellation because it was the best. God damn it.
I know exactly what you mean.
This is why we can't have nice bank accounts, Lana.
I know, right?
So you're saying?
Each one of my purchases has a specific
use
role in use. But there was a time I was like, I want that one because I just want it, and I may do that later. But that's a cool ship.
I started with the plan of having one ship of every single hull type, so that way I'd have all the choices available to me as the game became more playable, and then I would sell off the ships that I didn't like or enjoy enough and just keep a small core of like 5 or 6 or 7 ships that fit the different roles I liked or were aesthetically pleasing or whatever. And then my sweetheart talked me into buying a completionist, and that's game over because that's all one giant package. So now here I am, org leader of L, mega freaking mercenary meta shadow organization. Oh well, good times. So what are you looking forward to most post-launch? Are you expecting to be a specialist of one type of gameplay? Or, and the thing is you kind of answered this. I'm guessing that your answer is going to be that you're going to go for all of the things. Is that true?
I'm going to at least try all the things.
Right.
I got an Endeavor I got all the attachments for it. But I specifically got it for the particle accelerator and the telescope.
Oh, no, okay. Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I'm kind of leaning towards. But I mean, I'm also gonna do paramilitary duties for with my org. Trade when I can, repair when I can. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do a little bit of everything. I mean, this is gonna be the game that I play as soon as it releases. It's gonna be
life.
Yeah, like
I need to get my tattoo on my chest removed so I can replace it with the StarCitizen logo. Oh my god. Do like the cheesy barcode on the back of the neck and do your your citizen number underneath of it.
Oh, that would be like too cliche.
No. I'm gonna get the StarCitizen logo as a tramp stamp. Oh my god!
But you have to get it in the Ram style.
In the Ram style? What's the Ram style?
It's kind of like a curved triangle.
Oh my god! So the Endeavor, that's a sweet ship. One of my love affairs, right? I too have all of the stupid modules. So, and I've asked Ben Lesnick this in person, and he actually was like, "Hey, I hadn't thought of that. That's good consideration," which makes me happy because this is his ship. Like he's the one. The Endeavor was like his idea, and master of ships. And as a matter of fact, I think I even have a question posted for the developers, because Ben and David Haddock are going on next week's for the devs. So if you have any questions, go on the RSI site and put them in their thread. But anyway, so I've had these conversations, but I'm always pushing to see if there's new information. My only complaint with the Endeavor is that if you look at the 4 or 5 different roles that ship can do with the various modules, each one of those roles has one set of modules that you pretty much have to have all of those modules on, which means that there's no extra room for auxiliary modules that would allow you to take a ship that's a hospital ship or a ship that's a science ship, or a ship that's a harvesting ship, and customize it in a way that makes it unique from the other guy that's using the exact same primary role of that ship. In other words, you can't take a hospital ship and have one of them have extra fuel so it can go longer range, whereas the other one is going to be stationary so it has more crew pods, or another one that's going with the combat fleet right into the fray so it has extra armor or extra point defense lasers. Because in order to make the ship be minimally viable, meaning for it to have the minimum number of modules to do its primary function without completely handicapping that function, it completely precludes using any of those other modules like extra crew or extra fuel or cargo or any of that stuff. Does that make sense? So
yeah, like with the scientific
right.
setup for the Endeavor, you
Right.
have to have the particle accelerator. You have to have the science module to do all the tweaking and stuff from that particle accelerator. And
right, which means now you're out of fucking module slots.
well, I think you have one more. You have that other one. You can put 3 modules on there.
Yeah, that one I think, but it's like you have the research one. You have like the I know what you're saying, right? And but either way, like my suggestion is what they need to do is they need to break the modules down into primary modules and secondary modules, and like have the secondary modules be fitted along the spine of the ship, so that way they don't mess up the symmetry or any of that crap. But have those be non-primary role modifiers, like this module allows for an extra 10 crew, and this module allows for an extra fuel, this module, all of those kinds of things. So that way, if you have a hospital ship, which has the landing bay, which is mandatory for a hospital ship, and the hospital bays, which are mandatory for a hospital ship, and those fill up all your primary bays. Well, if they fill up all your bays, then that means every hospital ship is going to be exactly those same ships. So there's 5 different ships that all use the same frame. So the modularity doesn't really give you modularity in the sense of you can customize it. It only just gives you the ability to change between 5 different ships, And I don't know. So like I was hoping that they would allow you to do the non-primary role modules as a secondary function, But it would require a little bit more work. But again, that ship is so early in concept that that's why I want to get them to keep thinking about it.
Yeah, also, like the more time that they have for a ship,
right,
they've always have come out better and better. Take a look at Wave 1 ships.
Oh my God, I know, right?
Compared to, what we have now, it's really apples and oranges.
I know. Like you look at the Mustang Beta compared to like all the other like living quarters, and you're like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, right.
And that's a starter ship. So yeah, and that's funny too, because people complain and bitch about the Banu not being out or the Carrack not being out, and in many ways, I'm grateful. I'm like, please, like those are ships that I really kind of want to, be awesome. So hey, the longer it takes to put those out, the more polished the other things will be. The smoother it will be. Because that's the problem. You get these other ships where they've redone them so many times that they don't want to redo them again. Because now if they redo the Constellation again, oh my God, the tears.
Yeah, and our community has some nice vocalness to it. Although they are the minority, but they're very vocal about it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, and that is what it is, but anyhow. So, have you found that having a large fleet has influenced how you approach the game?
See, I don't know, because I treat my fleet and everything within as individual ships.
Okay.
So, but I guess that isn't an influence in and of itself, because I'm not looking at it as a fleet. You know what I'm saying?
So in other words, you look at it as like I have a character that's going to fly this ship and do these things, then I'll have another character that's going to fly this ship and do these other things and things. Is that what you mean?
Or like, like a persona per se. Like,
Sure.
this persona, my character may have multiple personality disorder. So this persona has a predilection towards combat ships. So I'll get all the combat ships, and I am definitely going to be getting the Buccaneer. Just FYI.
Oh yeah, that's coming right in a couple of days. Woo.
Yeah.
I still want the little cutlass wings, the little cutlass shield things on the edge of the wings.
I kind of like how it does look now, because it just add some cannons on the wings and maybe dip the neck down a little bit, and it looks like an AC-170 from Star Wars.
I know, when I was seeing it while I was still picture scrambled, I was like, it's an X-Wing! So, okay, so what about how you approach your participation in orgs? Do you feel like being in an org, when you have a lot of different ships, that there's more pressure on you as the player to, I guess, contribute more of those ships? Do you ever feel put upon with expectations or anything like that?
No, not so much. I mean, I'm a part of. I have my primary org, which is Rogue Squadron, but I'm also a part of Test. Who else am I a part of?
I've heard they're the best.
They are the best.
Oh God. So no, but the real question is, are you part of Ready Player One?
I don't think so, but I wouldn't mind it.
Oh, you ought to. They're I have that org. It's just a glorified friends list. So join it, don't join it, I don't care. It'll be a way for all the people that are on the Facebook group to kind of loosely stay in touch in the game, so that way, because that's going to happen, man. When the game launches, everybody who knows everybody online, it's going to be like to the 4 wins. It'll be hard to keep those connections alive.
Exactly. I mean, I'm also a part of Operation Pitchfork, and I do plan on flying that. I want to be a support ship.
Yeah, I don't even know what I want to fly for them. I've been a part of that since its inception, and I have no idea what I'll do.
I'm not a great fighter. Like, I'm not very accurate with my guns, but I'm a hell of a maneuver. Like, I can maneuver very well. So that's why I think I'll do better as more of a support than an attack.
Right.
But I also, and to your point about having an org just as a friends list, because I think that's how CIG is going to approach it. Most of this org stuff anyway.
Right.
I'm also a part of the old chat roll citizens org.
Oh, nice. I think I remember about that, but I don't think I joined that one.
I was a part of the StarCitizen chat roll when it was back in 2012 and 2013.
Cool.
And I met a lot of really cool people in there, and I want to keep tabs of them within the game.
Nice.
So, I mean, I could always add another org, so yeah, sure.
Nice. Let's see, what else? What concerns do you have regarding putting all of your ships to use? Do you think it'll be possible? How are you going to do it?
I know from the get-go that logically you can only fly one ship, with the exception of renting out your ships to some NPCs. Right. So I know I'm not going to be able to have all my ships out flying at the same time.
Well, less the flying at the same time, but just more feeling like you're getting your money's worth out of your investment into such digital assets.
Oh, I will definitely get my money's worth.
Okay.
Like, no question. As I said, like, as soon as this game releases, like, insert a catheter and an IV, throw on my VR goggles, and
hook up the colostomy bag and plug in.
And just lay back.
And this is why I trust Chris Roberts with my money, because he's basically making a retirement game.
No, right? Right?
it'll be like what is it the what is it the old people that drive around, the Shriners, they donate like when they get old to a certain point, instead of retiring, they basically just donate all their assets, everything they own, to this group, but then the group takes care of them. That's going to be us with Star Citizen. We're going to be like, okay, we're just going to give you all of our 401ks, everything we make, all of it, and you just plug us into the Star Citizen virtual, you know.
I'm seriously waiting for Matrix technology so I can.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so bad. I don't know that that's a healthy thing to want, but doesn't mean I don't.
I just get some the electronic muscle stimulators, so
Right.
so you get some kind of workout while you're sitting there.
Come out all super buff with abs of doom.
Washboard abs.
All right, let's see. What kind of reactions do you get when you talk to non-Star Citizen folks about your in-game asset collection? What is the wildest reaction that you've gotten?
I haven't. There's only a few people that I've really talked to about Star Citizen. I know
Okay.
I'm not doing my duty to getting the word out. But I think that the biggest reaction is how much money I've spent on this game. So
did they just freak out? Like, was it a
Yeah.
guy or a girl? Was it family, a friend, a stranger,
coworkers and
acquaintance?
friends,
Okay,
and
they just lose their shit.
no, they're just like, are you serious? And like, man, I wish I could do that. Those kind of typical comments.
Right,
but,
right.
I mean, that's the only negative backlash that I get.
Sure. Okay, so this one, we'll see how you go with this one. So if you could sit down with Chris Roberts and ask him for one thing to add, remove, or just influence a change for Star Citizen overall, either small or large, like what would it be?
This is a great question and something I have to think about this.
Something I should have had you read ahead of time. I'm sorry. I probably
Yeah.
should have.
No, but
Fair enough.
I'm thinking, and I guess make do on your proclamation of having these procedurally generated nets be livable, be have all the flora and fauna of our world, so we can go down and hunt and find ancient relics and all that. So
do some Tomb Raider Citizen.
yeah. I want this to be the one true and only game.
Right, I know, like yeah. Oh my god, I know, right? It's give us the Oasis, give it to us now. All right. Well, let's see. What do your close families and friends think of the game? Enthusiasm or dread?
Well, I told my brother about this, and I kind of poked him to back a little bit.
Uh-huh.
He's super busy, so he can't really play as much as I can.
Right.
And he initially he was like, this is a game, but now that 2.0 and subsequent releases have come out, he's getting more and more into it.
That's good to hear, actually.
Yeah.
I have many a friend that I've spent hard-earned money in excess of $1,000+ in like gifts to friends and family for different packages and ships. And it's funny because you do all that and you're like, do you even know, bro? Do you understand? And it's like so few do, and so I've gotten over my disappointments over friends and family not necessarily being quite as enthused, which is fine because they're probably sick and tired of hearing me be so super enthused.
Yeah, there's always that dichotomy,
Right. All right, so we have been on for a long time. We're looking pretty close to the end. So if you're ready, I'm going to hit you with the 5 for the player. Are you ready for some rapid fire action, Brian?
Let's get it done.
All right. Number 1, control scheme of choice.
I think I answered this earlier, but
Yes, you did.
Hotas.
Right
Hotas
on.
with redder petals.
All right, good job. What kind of pedals?
Right now, I have the Satec, but when I can save up some extra money, I'm going to get the really, really nice ones. Not the Thrustmaster ones, but
The MFG crosswinds?
yeah, the ones that are Europe based.
Yes, yeah. I have them 100%. They use the same Hall sensors that your Warthog Thrustmaster uses in all 3 axes. Amazing.
Nice.
And you said you use a Warthog stick, right?
Yes, I use both the throttle and the stick.
Okay, nice. All right, number 2. What is your favorite FPS armor so far?
I've limited experience with this, but my go-to will always be medium because you have the protection. So you have some more protection than light, but you're mobile.
You're still mobile. Okay, so now that's an answer based on performance. Is it performance or aesthetics that make up your choice most times for the armors?
I'm a logical person, so it's definitely the performance that influences my decision.
Well, there are 2 sets of medium armor. Which one is your favorite?
I like the UEE.
Okay. All right, so number 3, most anticipated ship in your fleet. To come. Okay, nice. That was quick. Number 4, slow and stealthy or kick in the door and assault?
My playstyle is stealthy. There's no better feeling, in my most humble opinion, of getting behind enemy lines and either knifing them or headshotting them.
Oh man, after my own heart. So I see you've played a stealth archer again in Skyrim for the 7th time.
Mostly Call of Duty and
Sure.
and some other Metal Gear Solid. Love Metal Gear Solid.
Nice. All right, so number 5, defending a comm array. You kill pirates, then 2 extra spawn. You then notice another player snuck ahead of you to activate the comm and collect the reward. Do you take the reputation hit, go pirate for an hour, and waste his ass, or do you move on? I think I actually asked that earlier.
Yeah.
Damn it.
No, but that's all right. My definitive answer is deactivated. I'm sorry. Ship laser greater than character. You know, they're dead. If I can shoot them, they're dead.
Nice. So, and it was funny, and actually the reason that was on my mind earlier is I noticed that the culture has changed in 2.4 because of the way UEC is earned and because of the consequences, so that now people aren't quite so quick to shoot you in the face just for the funsies, but the pressure of competition for money may very well drive some players to say fuck it all and go pirate. So it's going to be super interesting how that culture develops. So anyways,
one can only hope.
Right. All right, anyway, well, that's what I'm talking about. Brian, it's been great having you on with us here at Station 42. Thank you so much again.
It was great to be back. Love it here.
Godric, you got anything to say to our guests before I walk us out?
Yeah, man. Thanks for being on the show again. You definitely have some excellent talking points.
All right. Well, to all of our listeners, new and old alike, if you stuck around through the like 2 hours there, good grief. Thank you for spending your time with us. If you liked our show, be sure to like and subscribe. Feedback is always appreciated. And check our YouTube archives for old episodes, downloads to our music, and just general commentary, because we love it. All right. That's it, everybody. Godric, let's kick this shit into quantum and take us out.
Alrighty, here we go.